as various candidates of political parties running for one office or the other go on with their consultations around the country to persuade the people to elect them. Voter turnout during the elections is a major concern as we head towards 2023. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has said that voter turnout across Nigeria hovered around 30 to 35% of registered voters in the last two electoral cycles. One can point out some causes of the low turnout that Nigeria has had in the past elections. Among them are inadequate voter and civic education, ineffective voter mobilization, the fear of violence during elections, unfulfilled promises by elected officials, and low public trust in state institutions. Nevertheless, the people can't turn their backs on the need to express their civic responsibility. Now, more than ever, the youth and every citizen of Nigeria will need to come out en masse to vote during the 2023 elections to select credible leaders to represent them. Joining us on this show to discuss his initiative, Go Nigeria, moves being made to create more awareness ahead of the 2023 elections, is Atedo Peterside, President, Anna Foundation, and founder, Stanbic IBTC Bank PLC. Good morning, Mr. Peterside, and thank you for joining us on the program this morning.
Morning, Ruben. Morning, Tudu. Morning, Rufai.
Morning.
Actually, this is my first time in a TV studio in Lagos since COVID 2 years ago.
Well, we're glad to have you here.
All the other interviews have been virtual in Lagos.
I know Anna Foundation did a lot with regard to COVID. So to have you coming out is an indication that you have faith that the world is turning around.
The work of Anna Foundation is to solve problems. If COVID is a problem, we try and help solve it. If elections are a problem, we try and help solve and improve.
Okay, let's talk about elections then. In 2015, I think it was January 2015, you wrote a piece, The Ugly Side of Jonathan and Buhari. And you were very pessimistic. You said neither of the two persons could rescue the country. And after that, you wrote another piece, 2021, 2023, The Ugly Side. No, not The Ugly Side, Hitting Rock Bottom. And you said Nigeria was hitting rock bottom. You were also very pessimistic. When you wrote the 2015 piece, I think it was Mr. Lai Mohammed, now Minister of Information, who responded to you and described what he called the ugly side of Atedo Peterside, a full-page essay. So you got labeled by Minister Lai Mohammed, as he later became, as a pessimist. Now we are at another turning point for Nigeria, 2023 elections. Are you still pessimistic, or are you now optimistic, or have you had cause to change your opinions about President Buhari and also about President Jonathan, who some people are saying is the Messiah that we all need at this point?
And let me make it very clear. I was very pessimistic in January 2015 because I thought the two candidates were not good enough and Nigeria could do better. And I said so. I stand by that. And I don't think anything has changed. If anything, I think the intervening years have proven me right. But surprisingly now, in April 2022, I'm mildly optimistic because for the start, some of the candidates on display and some more are still coming, to me are not, at least there are two or three, or at least let's say two in each major party that are not too bad. But more importantly, the basis of my optimism is not the candidates, it's the improved electoral act. You see, because if you have an improved electoral act, you get a better chance of proper elections. Proper elections attract better candidates to come in. Disgraceful systems and failed systems like 2019 Electoral Act and so on, many clever people, wise people will not take part because they know that the result doesn't reflect reality. People have to think that a race will be properly judged before they jump in. That's the first reason. So therefore, it's improved the Electoral Act. The second thing that makes me optimistic is the problem of voter apathy that was at its lowest during the Anambra election, where only 10% of the electorate actually came out and voted. That was what I call rock bottom. Between then and now, a variety of people, not just Go Nigeria, have come out realizing, my God, we cannot have a country where only 10% of people come out and vote. More importantly, the people that stayed out en masse and have been doing so are the educated youth, who should be the main demographic that determine who gets elected. They're the ones who are the most discerning and can see through candidates and say, this is the man we want. We did so in 1993. I was the youth when we came out and said we want MK Abiola.
Right, I have 2 questions for you. Let's start with Go Nigeria, which you set up in 2022. What was that? November 2022, thank you. So what was the vision then, and what's the journey been like so far?
Yeah, the vision then was to attack voter apathy, see whether we could get the youths. You see, it had become fashionable for highly educated youths to look you in the face and say, I have no voter's card, I'm not going to vote in the elections, I don't give a damn, the votes don't count anyway. So it had become fashionable. That was the trendy thing to do. Today, when we measure that same item, I've been to meetings where, after talking, you ask all the youths, these are the highly educated youths, do you have your voter's card? About half the room raise their hands saying they've just registered online or they have their voter's card now. And they raise their hands proudly and almost defiantly that they're ready for the elections. You should now ask them, who are those who don't have voter's cards? Then those who don't have begin to do like this and saying, sorry, sir, next week I intend to go and register. So which means that already it is slowly becoming unfashionable for an educated young male or female Nigerian to be telling you that they have no voter's card and they're proud. Now it's their colleagues telling them, don't be silly, go and get your voter's card. This is our chance to get our voices heard.
Well, speaking of trends, that leads me to my next question. We started the show this morning on the latest flurry of declarations from different politicians. Can you give some context into this increasingly crowded field? What are the politicians playing at? Everybody and their grandmother's pet is coming out to declare for president. What's that about?
The beauty of it is that only one will emerge from APC. Only one will emerge from PDP anyway. So the rest will be their grave. So I think it's good that they all come out and compete. I mean, I like competition. Let them rubbish each other, because what they use to rubbish themselves is what some of us will use in the general election to rubbish them. You follow me? Because they're giving you all they should expose each other, so that we'll get to know their defects and everything. That process helps us to know who has the right material to be Nigerian president. And it may be outside of all those who right now are trying to present themselves. Because I think we overplay the dominance or importance of those two parties. I'm a data person. In 2010, I published something saying if you went around Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan had 54% approval. The election results went ahead to prove it. In 2015, our opinion poll and our foundation showed that Buhari was ahead of Jonathan. He won. You know what the opinion poll showed today? 40% of Nigerians don't want APC or PDP. And we're following that trend. And I think that 40% may keep rising. But it's in the hands of APC and PDP. If every day they do more foolish things, the 40% will keep increasing. Each of them, their share, the confidence they enjoy, will keep on diminishing. Take a single thing like APC, asking for 100 million naira for people to take part for presidency. It shows many people that they've lost their sort of moral compass. You see, when you have taken so much money from the nation, you forget that 100 million naira is plenty of money. People now show you on the internet that for US elections, governors and so on only pay 5,000. In a poor country, those setting the figure have so much money that they have, Ghana must go back, that they forgot that 100 million naira is a large sum of money to most Nigerians. So they're exposing themselves more and more that they're far detached from the reality.
But a lot of people argue that, yes, 44% of Nigerians are disillusioned with these two top political parties. But how do we get the other political parties become mainstream? Because when you look at it closely, those other guys, the other political parties, don't even scratch the surface when it comes to those big election numbers coming out?
No, it's very simple. I said I use data. In 2010, PDP and Jonathan, approval rating of the party and Jonathan was above 50%. Rufai, you are right. But the point I'm trying to show you is that, see, if take banking, there was a time when some banks were the biggest. I'm saying that if the biggest person keeps on misbehaving, I'm just talking reality now. So we're saying that right now, between the two of them, they cannot muster 60%. And if they go on misbehaving between now and February next year, which is a long time, they're on a path of self-destruction. I'm not saying that, therefore, I know what's going to happen. I'm just saying the fact is that their so-called share of approval is falling every day. Please don't forget, elections are more than president. So therefore, if this trend continues, many of the big names in Senate, big names in House of Rep may find themselves being flawed by even other parties. Because they're unpopular. That's the important thing.
So, but the argument a lot of people keep making is that these two parties, the APC and PDP, they've shared about 22 years of return to democracy, and both of them have failed, like the consensus out there, people say, that they have failed woefully. And people are saying, okay, why can't we have alternatives? So how do we have a country where an average Nigerian can look at the ballot and say, I like this man's manifesto, I like his plan, it doesn't need to be in the two top parties, I'll vote for him?
Look, let me help you, because I'm not here really to talk about APC and PDP forever. I'm saying that there are two parties that are failing and failing more and more. Let them continue to fail. Personally, I've joined the political party. Sorry, I'm trying to join one. I won't mention which one yet.
Political party?
You see, you won't let me talk. I said, let me explain to you. Now, I'm just trying to point out. Ruben knows to join the political party, you have to join at ward level. Not so. You have to have a card, everything. So when I said I've joined, let me say I'm joining. I don't have a ward number yet. There are many people like that. Why do you think the vice president would transfer his membership from Lagos to Ogun? Look at what happened in PDP. They don't like the chairman, some people. At what level they evict him from the party? Once they evict you, you stop being in the party. At that point, you cannot be chairman again. So the point I'm making to you is that some people are almost on the path of self-destruction. Let me not argue. By the time they pick one candidate, watch how many of the others will feel betrayed and how they will behave. So let's not spend too much time thinking about what the losers may do in APC.
Okay.
And the losers, all we know is that there will be many losers.
Okay,
many of them making arrangements to...
Mr. Peterside, that leads us to the next point. Mm-hmm. You were involved in COVID.
Yes.
Public enlightenment, support for government initiative and all of that. Now it is Go Nigeria. And you are trying to mobilize the youth of Nigeria to be more conscious, to use their power of the vote and all that. So the logical question will be, is this a partisan platform? Or is it non-partisan? Or are you using the platform of Go Nigeria to also prepare yourself for the presidency of Nigeria? Now that every day, we wake up, every day now, somebody is declaring. So tell us more about Go Nigeria. Is this your own platform to negotiate for the presidency of Nigeria?
No such thing. Look at this is Go Nigeria website. It's a non-partisan organization. Let me explain. We started with 18 advocates, 3 from each geopolitical zone. Some of them are in party politics. That you're a politician does not mean you cannot come together for advocacy that benefits the whole country. So for instance, Osita Chidoka is the only PDP member. He's one of 3 from the southeast in Go Nigeria. So he can be in Go Nigeria trying to advocate for the whole nation to do something and personally go and canvass for himself in PDP. Kashim Ibrahim Imam is from APC. He's in Go Nigeria, he's from the northeast. That is a member of APC does not make Go Nigeria APC. So Go Nigeria, in fact, must be a real organization full of real people. And I think if you put together real human beings in Nigeria today, 18, 3 from each geopolitical zone, it makes sense to include at least one PDP member, one APC member, because amongst other things, you want to benefit from them and their experience. So even if I join APC tomorrow, if I join PDP, I join any other party, it does not change Go Nigeria. I'm a man, I believe in process, following rules and so on. You cannot form an organization for one thing and try and hijack it. But just as Osita can come to Go Nigeria and say, those of you who like me, I'm running for something, vote for me. So can anybody else do the same. But Go Nigeria will remain non-partisan. That's what they were set up for. Or otherwise, those who are working for the ideals and so on will feel betrayed. But please, my message to the youths has been, everybody, after you vote and register, try and also join a political party. Join in large numbers. Guess what? Some of these parties won't even admit the youths.
Well, Mr. Peterside, I like your faith in these youths. These same youths that President Buhari described as lazy youths. What gives you the confidence that these Nigerian youths who have different kinds of models can be motivated to even be interested in the political process?
You know, I spoke somewhere last week. If anything, my worry was whether we could sustain the interest that those youths who were present. You know, it's like they were already charged. Some of us are saying that I've registered, I want to vote. You know, in fact, let the elections come tomorrow. You follow me? But my fear was that, hey, I hope we've not hit peak too early. So which means that between now and February or March next year, the enthusiasm begins to wane. So my concern even is to how to keep up that interest through a variety of things. That's why we launch all these things like Go Nigeria Poetry Challenge, Go Nigeria, rap. So, and we tell them the theme must be about elections, PVC. You want to keep them buzzing and planning for the elections. But to maintain that interest from now till March next year or February next year, it's a big effort.
Well, we hope you do sustain that momentum. Let's take a look at the poetry challenge. Go Nigeria's poetry challenge. Let's have a look.
Trust me, people's voice count. So when they push your voice to crack, tell you placards are vain and cast you out. Playing politics, validating their crimes, remember, the power to vacate the cycle is in your hands. So it's okay with your cards, proudly vote civilization, register. Put an end to this disaster. We did not inherit the silence of our parents, it's all talk and flee without your PVC.
That's so powerful. Can you tell us more about Go Nigeria? How are you funding it? Because I've mentioned it on the show before. I've been hearing so many jingles on the radio and what have you. You have competitions like this with the prize money. How are you funding all of that?
I want to answer your question, but first let me mention that lady that came first, if you played the second, third, and fourth entries, people will say, no, number 2 was the best. You know, the judges had a problem picking her, but she deserves her prize. She's 24 years old. I think she's in Anambra, and she won. As regards the funding, I'll always tell you the truth. So far, and that was always my intention, everything has been paid for by an app foundation, and I'm the only one that funds an app foundation. But so far, that is what we have been doing. Same with under COVID. And that foundation is there to try and do good. So, and also, if it's affordable, or if I think I can afford to do something like that, why not just do it? Let people come and contribute in other ways. And here I will mention, there are ways to contribute. Take what I call Go Partners. These are corporate organizations that have decided to partner with us. So for instance, the radio jingles. It's not true that we are paying them 100% of the normal rates. We told them, hey, if you want to partner with us, we want to carry our radio jingles, give us a deep discount, because the advert is for your own children and your own grandchildren. So some of them agreed. So they gave us a deep discount. So therefore, you can say that they contributed, not by giving me cash, but by reducing how much I have to pay them. That's a big contribution. There's even a governor now in the north who says he's going to take those radio adverts and play them free on his state-owned radio channel. So those people are contributing. And I should mention the governor's name, because hopefully others will do the same. Is Governor Tambuwal in Sokoto. Has told us to give me the material. I will play it free on radio, in Sokoto and so on. So if you want others, Ruben, come and do the same for Ogun. So that way you're contributing, but don't give me cash. I won't take it.
All right, exciting. Let's talk about voter apathy. A lot of Nigerians don't come out to vote. And a lot of them have given up on the country. What would you say to an average young Nigerian that has a lot of prospect, but he thinks of leaving? Like they use the colloquial word, jackpot. He wants to leave. He's tired. He wouldn't even come out to vote. We meet a lot of those Nigerians. What would you say to them?
I think everything we've been doing, all our campaigns, our radio advert, is giving them reason. It's a pity you won't play the advert here. But even if you listen to the advert, it's addressing this very point you're talking about. You follow me? So all you can do in life is to build a campaign cleverly based on feedback. Guess what? The feedback is coming from the youth themselves, saying, "Dear go Nigeria, how about trying this? How about trying that?" This is what our colleagues, this is what helped to influence them. I give you an example. You won't believe it. In a leaflet which I have here, at the beginning, we said we will even do a raffle draw where we will pick PVCs at random for people aged between 18 and 34. If you pick your lucky number, your PVC, you get how many million? So let somebody tell me that he won't register, he won't pick up his PVC. No problem. If you don't have a ticket, you cannot win the prize. But guess what? The youth came back saying, no, don't do the lottery. It's too easy. Do competitions where we do something to win. A lottery is a random thing. Somebody sleeping at home, you pick up his card and say, this man has won #1 million. They said, it's not, you lose the buzz and the excitement. Now we have a rap challenge. Everybody's trying their hand in rapping. Sorry, Ruben, you're too old because we say only those between 18 and 34.
I'm a young one.
But let me tell you what happened. For our first poetry challenge, we made the mistake of saying those aged between 18 and 49. We took 2 INEC age bands, the 18 to 34, 35 to 49. Come and see the phone calls and complaints from youths. What are these old men in their 40s coming to compete with us for? So I beg them, please, we cannot change the rules midstream. But we got your message. The next competition, even in poetry, we will rule out those people. You know, I think almost all of us here. Perhaps you are below to do.
I am not.
Okay, so we said, okay, we make it 18 to 34. That's the largest demography anyway. And guess what? In spite of allowing the 40-year-olds who took part, the 3 winners on merit in the first poetry challenge were between ages 24 and 27. Because they were the most creative. You saw that video by that lady. I've never seen her before in my life. If you see the video of the person that came second, some people say, no, this guy deserves to be first. Well, his was in Pidgin and English mixed. So also what we're doing therefore is telling youths, to answer Rufai's point in one final comment, don't wait for me to convince you. If you are convinced, why don't you go and convince 4 other youths? Guess what? Many come back and say, oh, go Nigeria, guess what? The following 4 youths I spoke to have also gone to go and register. I said, great. Then tell each of them to find 4 more youths. That is how you build something.
Well, on that note, Mr. Peterside, we'll take a short break. But when we return, we're going to talk about the politics of the day, all the topical issues in politics. So I hope you are ready for us. We'll take this short break now, and when we return, the conversation will continue. You're still watching The Morning Show here on Arise News. Welcome back to The Morning Show here on Arise News. Our guest is still Mr. Atedo Peterside, President of ANAP Foundation and founder, Stanbic IBTC Bank PSC. Mr. Peterside, thank you for staying with us. Well, I observed that during the break you had a quick wardrobe change. So you will tell us about this T-shirt. But in addition to that, in your prefatory remarks, you said there are 2 or 3 persons that are not too bad among the long list of presidential aspirants across the entire spectrum. Who are those 2 or 3 persons that you referred to?
You know, Raymond, you won't get me to name, sorry, Ruben, you won't get me to name names yet because I want everybody to come. There's no use advising, let everybody come in, let them close, then we'll make a comment. If in 2015 I could tell the nation that watch out for this, why do you think that now I won't have the same confidence? Let everybody come in, because otherwise it's like you're interfering with a race that hasn't even started. Let the closing dates come for them to submit. Then you can comment on the whole lot. Or it's unfair on those who commented early, then those who come late, they miss your comment and they dive in. People start, let us do it when they've closed.
Yeah, but okay. I was only just referring to what you said.
Yeah.
You said 2 or 3 that are not bad. Who are those 2 or 3 that are not bad?
If you keep me here from now to midnight, I won't mention them yet. So you know me. so we can go.
Yeah, but this T-shirt, you want to tell us
exactly. About? That's what I came for. Not people that don't matter. Yes, you see this T-shirts. It's just something to cause some excitement. It's available for sale on our website. You press shop. The colors we chose. People say, oh, why amber? Why green? This green is Nigeria's shade of green. Why amber? You know, the logic was that Nigeria right now is in the red light zone. So like the red lights are on. When the red lights are on, you know you can't move. Or you shouldn't move. Or if you move, you can meet your death. So before we can get to green, we have to move Nigeria from the red to amber. So Go Nigeria is an organization trying to move Nigeria from red to amber. Amber becomes the basis for takeoff to green. So it's based on the traffic light system where we say Nigeria. So amber is optimism. Green is the ultimate destination. Right now we're in the red light district. All the danger signals are on.
But there's white there. Why the white?
Well, that's just part of green. White, green is Nigeria.
A lot of thought put into that. I like that. But let's come back to something you said earlier that I found really disturbing, that some youths are trying to join parties and they're not being allowed to do so. We're also aware that there's some obstacles in trying to even acquire a PVC. Let's talk about that, this kind of disenfranchisement through the back door.
Yes, I worry more about the PVC one because many people have complained, and I myself will take up the complaint with the INEC chairman, that they register easily online. When they go to the place for biometrics, there seems to be an effort in some parts of the country to frustrate them. Of course, the extreme one was in Imo, where somebody even came with a gun. But that's the dramatic one. People come in Lagos, come out, go for biometrics. They tell you to come on Monday. You come on Monday. Nothing is happening. They just keep you out there waiting. Almost as if they want to sabotage the effort to increase the number of youths coming out to vote. It's only in some parts of the country. And I've been telling the youths, take videos, bring evidence, identify the particular unit so that the officers in INEC can be reported. I myself have sent one video through somebody to INEC. They were just kept for hours before INEC just ignored them. So it's almost as if people don't want, but let me think about it. If you're an incumbent or if you're somebody who is secure in your senatorial zone or House of Rep zone, based on low turnout, and those are your friends, do you really want a massive turnout of all kinds of funny youths to come out to come and vote? What are they going to come and do? All over the world, when youths come out en masse, the first thing they do is to vote against the establishment. It happened in the UK. After Brexit, 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds came out en masse. Theresa May made the mistake of calling the snap election. They came out only with one intention. They voted against all her candidates. The result was so bad for her that she had to step down, and the youth went home celebrating. The next election, might they vote? Perhaps not, unless something brings them out, their anger. Right now in Nigeria, our youths are angry. And that's why I'm saying I hope we can sustain that interest in the elections till next March. But in the party, let me answer your question to do. Why people want to keep somebody out? If I'm in Yaba, it's good. We'll have primaries for State House of Assembly. Right now, there are only 5,000 members, of which half are with me. Do I really want to admit 10,000 new youths into the Yaba district? How do I know they will vote for me? So it's protection, because they are preparing for primaries. They want to stop you from registering until after the primaries, after they have already won the tickets. Only then can you join the party. And as you know, a party like APC is about godfathers. Even at the federal level, we saw their convention. Everything was by consensus. What does that mean? A man that has no godfather has no chance. I have no godfather, unfortunately.
You're a godfather.
So I won't join the place with godfathers. I have no godfather.
Yeah, so you said the youth are angry. Yeah. Could NSAS have been that beginning point for that anger? That's one. And number two, you also said there are few good ones, the rest are bad. Isn't that sad enough that in 2015, you wrote an article, you're talking about best of both evils. And you said, okay, let's vote for this one because it's lesser of the evil. And so it's a case that Nigeria always gets the worst case scenario.
No.
Is that going to happen again in 2023?
It's unlikely. Sorry, let me explain, please. Again, I don't want to spend all my energy talking about only two parties and so on. It is possible that the two candidates that I think are good in PDP may never see the light of day in the PDP system. But if they chose PDP, then that's their lot. It's possible that in APC as well, that the two candidates that I think are okay might not see the light of day. But then people know what they have to do, and there's plenty of time in between. So I'm not worried too much. I'm more interested in a high voter turnout where the unexpected may happen, where many people, like I've said, I repeat myself again and again because they come back to the same thing, where many people will fall at the State House of Assembly, State House of Rep, Senate. Big names will fall and crash. Please, let's remember one thing. We've not had a proper election like the one we had on June 12, 93. We've not had a proper one like that. On that day, we counted the votes at the polling booth. We had mobile phones. By the following morning, we all knew MKO had won. Everything was done. The politicians understood the power of that system and spent a long time making sure that we never have elections where everybody that took part knows the results. They want a system that they can manipulate. And that's why I'm thankful to the current administration. I'm not somebody that runs down just only sees bad in some people. The one very good, important, good thing that President Buhari has done is to sign that electoral act, which is a big improvement on the previous one. Let's give him the credit for that. Let's give credit to the Speaker of the House of Rep, Senate President. At least they did one good thing. Forget about the multiple bad things they've done. At least they've done one good thing that gives us a chance, therefore, to take our country back.
Well, it's
so
good
I
you
asked
talk
about NSAS.
Oh.
So
Yes.
NSAS was the beginning point of that.
Sorry, you say you're asking me. I always tell people that I'll tell you when I don't know something. I know many youths are angry. When I ask them, some call NSAS, they still live it every day. Some are angry for the simplest reason in the world. Do you know that the number of people in full-time paid employment has fallen almost 50% between 2015 and now? Some are angry because they're unemployed. Some are angry because they have no money. Some are angry because the savings they have in the bank have become worthless through inflation and everything else. So the reasons for anger are multiple. Some are angry because they lost their parents to kidnappers. So I'm no expert on reasons for anger. What we are trying to do is to say, whatever be your reason for your anger, can we channel it through a PVC and into the next elections? Don't take your anger and carry stones and go and attack Reuben. That won't solve your problem. So that's what we're doing, trying to channel the anger, harness it. Also, Rufai, in the society, it's very important that you don't take away hope. If people are angry, I'm happy that you can make them see a date in the future. Oh, February next year, you'll have a chance to express your anger, vote against who you don't like, and so on. But if there's no way whatsoever to express their anger, then they will seize the one they know on the streets. So I'm saying that the reasons for the anger are multiple. Healthcare, education, universities closed. People are angry for a variety of reasons. I'm no expert on anger. So let me leave the anger button.
Mr. Peterside. Well, okay. You talked about rigging. Some people are saying that the biggest rigging method that has now been introduced into the vocabulary is this politics of zoning. And that some parts of the country and the political parties, they are trying to rig the 2023 election to the north, to the disadvantage of the south. What are your thoughts about zoning? What are your thoughts about what came out of the Greater Nigeria Conference this week, that in fact it will be an act of injustice and unfairness if the Nigeria president is not of Southeast extraction?
Okay, I think I was on Arise TV, an interview, I'm sure it's on YouTube, during the COVID era, when I actually mentioned that I also have sympathy for the Southeast and all things being equal. I think I said it on Arise TV, I definitely did. I even said, not too old candidates. Why was I saying that? Now, let's distinguish between an ideal and reality. You see, what is the whole logic of zoning? Let's go back to the basics. Some people talk about zoning, some people talk about power rotation. The two sound like the same. But if it is rotation that you're talking about, then you will say all things being equal, nobody from the Northwest should come out. Because that is Buhari's own zone. Because there's no rotation if you replace Northwest with Northeast. If you're talking about rotation based on tribe, then people will say, in fairness of rotation, a Fulani man shouldn't replace a Fulani man. I believe Atiku is Fulani, Buhari is Fulani. But let's put all that aside. I think everybody accepts, and if you think I'm wrong, correct me, that zoning was supposed to be a temporary arrangement from the beginning. Temporary. The issue was that how temporary is temporary. PDP came up with the concept. Their language implied power rotation, and they said, and it was meant to be a temporary arrangement, some said verbally. So the issue to discuss really is, what is the correct time to end the temporary arrangement? If you ask me that in a textbook situation, leave out Nigeria, there are 6 zones, and you started zoning, power rotating. When should you stop? Perhaps I might have said after all the 6 zones have had their turn. That is just an idealist position. I cannot impose it on anybody because it's not law. I've explained before, those who like to point out there's not in the law. I say, hang on a second. Did the law say that a president and vice president can't be from the same zone? Does the law disqualify that? So go and try it. You don't try it because you know it's unacceptable. So the issue is that if we're debating when do you end the arrangement, I have sympathy for those who say after everybody has tasted it as one logic. Second argument I have sympathy for is those who say, even if we know we must end it, the worst time to end it is after we have just had a very divisive regime that has made so many, geopolitical zones angry through their actions and inactions. So what they're saying is that the worst time to end something is after it has been badly managed. So you almost need somebody to manage it well first. When you manage it first, tempers cool down. Because people feel there has been fairness. But if people felt that, you've just finished manipulating some system for 8 years one way, and then now you're telling that it's time to end it. But there's no right or wrong in the business. Everybody has their say. So I have sympathy for the arguments that say it's not the time to end it, at least between North and South. I have sympathy for those who say perhaps you should go around first before you end something. But hey, how long will it take to go around? 8 years is a long time. Personally, I favor giving everybody 4 years. Change the constitution if you will agree. At the presidency level, not governorship level. Let governors have 8 years. Presidents have 4 years and go. To make them focus. As you come in, you know you have only 4 years. You finish, you go. After all, there are countries that deliberately plan for rotation, compulsorily. I think Nigeria should think about that, but amending the laws to reflect that. It may help to douse tensions, but again, please, there's no right or wrong in the business. If a group of people mishandle the opportunity, you cannot drag them screaming and impose them on the people. They have to be clever enough to use the system to bring themselves to the top. And if, for instance, if all of them join the wrong party and the party ill-treats them, then they're all finished.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Peterside. That's all we'll be able to take today. There's one question you didn't answer. The one about who your favorites are, 2 or 3 that you said are not bad. Maybe after the primaries, you will oblige us again. We'll invite you. And you'll come here and identify those ones.
I also promised that when I join, when my party admits me, yes, I will tell Tudu which
why
party.
Tudu? Why not me?
Okay,
why not Rufai?
Why you and why not?
Ladies first.
Why not me?
Thank you very much, Mr. Peterside, for joining us this morning on The Morning Show. So look forward to seeing you again.
Thank you.